Hello and welcome to the third stage of the Los Santos rally. I set the weather to rain just to make things a little bit more interesting. This course kind of loops around the wind turbine-y, powery, planty, wind farmy area, whatever you want to call it. The start of the stage was fairly straightforward. It is just sort of a section of long straights followed by tight hairpins at either end. It's kind of designed to test almost the straight line speed of the vehicles. This is the longest of the stages. It's also by far the fastest of the stages, just the way that this road kind of goes. There is an odd thing going on with some of the cars. We're definitely going to have to look into it more at some point after we've done with all the rally, because it seems like the cars with especially vehicles with the off-road tyres, were really struggling with the straight line speed. I'm not sure if running off-road tyres sort of restricts your straight line speed, and on this course in particular, that was quite problematic. There was another problem area on this course, if you like, and that was at the kind of, I guess, the highest point of this route, sort of the top of the hill area. There is a corner that everybody, except for sort of 2 or 3 people, did this. Everybody went off and tumbled, well landed in this case, to kind of recover. You can get your car back up this hill. On most occasions, you can get your car back up this hill without too many problems, but everybody did exactly the same thing almost over there, just trying to take a little bit too much speed. I'm not sure if it's people trying to, I wouldn't say sort of shortcut, there's no such thing as shortcut really in this. If you want to try and take the route, then go for it. And I'm wondering if people were kind of looking at what was ahead and thinking, oh, we don't need to worry about following the road just for this bit, as you could see where the checkpoint was, and they kind of straight line the section. And this is the risk. This is the risk that you run if you try to do that. Things can go quite badly wrong. Another Sultan got it wrong. You could kind of save it just about. If you weren't going too fast, you could actually get away with it. And I wonder if it would be quicker if you could line up the kind of the jump properly there. I wonder if it might be quicker. Yeah, lots of people had problems on there. The remaining sort of part of the course, again, this was a little bit more simplistic. It was a little bit smoother than some of the stages to come, even though this Sultan gets a little bit of a problem coming into probably the tighter hairpin on the course. The rest of the course was a little bit more simplistic. Very, very fast, actually, this course. A lot of acceleration, a lot of straight line speed was required. Blue Sultan running a little bit close to the edge there. We were also to have our first explosion of the event, and no surprises where this one was, as he goes tumbling off. Surprised actually to see a car explode when it lands on its nose. Normally they explode when they land on the back, or kind of like on one of the back corners. That one, yeah, bit of an odd explosion. Wasn't even going particularly fast when it hit the ground. Seen cars fall from much higher heights and survive it. The Comedian, again, is another one to have a problem falling off the mountain. I was surprised though by how well the Comedian recovers, how well it can climb back up this hill. That's turning around on the hill, and without a run-up, in a rear-wheel drive sports car, can climb on wet ground as well. That's quite impressive. That did really well to climb back up the mountain from that kind of angle. You can see some of the difficulties with the road cars landing a bit awkwardly on the bumps. I'm surprised we didn't see cars spinning out as much. The Shafter again struggled with the straight line speed. There's another car running on off-road tyres that really struggled. I know the Shafter's not the fastest car ever, but it did struggle quite a bit on the straight line speed front. It was to be the Felon that would yet again set the fastest time for the route, despite running a little bit wide on that particular corner. I'm not going to show the entire route of this one. This is a rather long stage, and of all the stages, this is probably my I think it's the least exciting to watch. It's good fun driving on this stage because it's quite fast, but there's not a lot of excitement going on except for the corner at the top. I don't know. Come up with a good name for this corner, people in the comment section. I'm terrible with thinking up random names. I just can't really do it very well. The Felon though got the corner correctly. Got a little bit of a slide on over the top, but it can be done. It is possible to take the corner. Just everybody was taking a bit too much speed over there, and the Felon will go on to complete the rest of the course without too many problems. Interestingly, the Felon running on road tyres. Yeah, it's the tyre thing is an interesting choice, I have to say. The Exemplar had problems as well with falling off the road. Still another fairly quick car though, and would outbrake himself into the hairpin. Again, we saw a couple of cars had sort of outbrake themselves in a few areas. Nothing really major though. It wasn't massively bumpy, so we didn't have too many problems. You could find bumps if you went looking for them, but yeah, not many cars had problems aside from that rather nasty corner. The results from stage 3, and it is the Felon that goes fastest, but not by very much. Had the second place Sultan not had an argument with a wind turbine, it would have been incredibly close between the two of them. Third was the Sultan that just about got away with a running wide as well, and then from fourth back was pretty much decided by how well you recovered from falling off the road. The Sultan in fourth was a black and orange one. I'm surprised how quick that time is, considering he had a big fall off the side of the road. That's a pretty good time, pretty speedy recovery from that one. The Shafter down towards the bottom with struggling with the speed on this run, and you got the Sultan at the very back with a DNF, which is when we take the slowest time and add on 10 seconds. So when you look at the overall results after the first 3 stages, it is the Felon that leads the way with a fairly healthy margin over the second place Sultan. A little bit of a reshuffle further back, the Exemplar drops a couple of places after a bit of an adventurous run on this route. The LMR Agura's Sultan, despite having a fairly poor stage 2, ended up on his roof, is still in a contention for the top spots. And further back, at the very back I should say, the Sultans are slightly reshuffled, but the back 4 are still in the same order, with the exploding Sultan now at the back of the field. However, things are still fairly close for the road cars. You move to the off-road vehicles next. I apologise that the filters, just the way I recorded this, I didn't realise about the filters for a while. Yeah. Sorry, I will remember next time, stupid thing. The off-road vehicles were still having problems despite being a little bit slower. The Bodhi got away with it this time. Yeah, it's it's a nasty corner. Everybody was wanting to take a little bit too much speed through there. I do think if you could aim it, nobody did get it right, but if you could aim it, I think you could save a bit of time if you jumped behind the windmill. But yeah, there's a big risk if you wanted to do that. The Kalahari was to have the most spectacular of crash. Okay, didn't explode, but goes for the sort of triple backflip somersaulty roll down the mountain. Yeah, pretty spectacular crash. Managed to smash every single window on the vehicle. Also did well to actually climb back up the hill, considering this thing has got the skinniest tyres in existence. And yeah, isn't the fastest of vehicles. The Bifter, though, is of course going to be very quick here. Now, when I designed this course, when I sort of said we're going to have an off-road and on-road class, I expected the off-road class to be full of Bifters, dune buggies and BF injections. You know, maybe we'd see a Sand King or two. I can't really control what people pick. I think the Bifters and the Dune Buggies and the BF injections would have produced interesting race, but as it is, the Bifter is quite a lot quicker than the rest of the field. Can't really do much about what people pick to race. Husky navigated the turbine fine and then promptly spun on the next corner, which was very clever. Again, I was surprised not to see more vehicles having that problem in the wet, especially with the road cars. It's very easy to spin road cars if you hit a bump a little bit wrong, but no, it was only Husky with the Bifter that had that problem. The Rebel, again, wasn't the quickest of vehicles in a straight line and maybe tried to carry a bit too much speed through somewhere else. This Rebel also had an adventure by the wind turbine. An unintended side effect of some of these drops was it was a real test for how well your car could hill climb, rather steep inclines as well, because of course the quicker you could get your car back on the road, the less time you would lose. So an unintentional sort of mini test for some of the vehicles on this route. The Sand King had got damage. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure. Sometimes GTA can go a little bit funny with the like spectator mode if you join. I'm not sure if this actually had damage or whether it was the spectator mode being funny with it. But the Sand King was really struggling with straight line speed on this course. Again, not sure if it is the tyre. I know the Sand King's not the fastest of vehicles in the game when it comes to straight line speed, but yeah, it was struggling on this course. This is a much faster course than it would probably ideally like. It did make it around the wind turbine though without a crash. The Dune Loader was another one that was struggling with the straight line speed. This one didn't make it past the wind turbine without a crash, going soaring off, and it didn't have a very good brake brakes as it goes soaring off even further. It definitely went the furthest distance on sort of off that bit of the course. The other problem with the June loader is that it was going to have some problems getting back on the course. There's a slight interesting thing with the way off-roading works, but while the rear-wheel drive sports cars could climb up here fine, the four-wheel drive, admittedly this is quite a heavy vehicle, couldn't. I presume this thing is four-wheel drive. Couldn't get back up the hill. Now, if you couldn't get your vehicle back up the mountain, there was sort of alternate ways you could get it, and the June loader goes around and finds a slightly less steep part of the course to climb up. But that's going to affect your time quite a bit. And as we come to the end, there was a fiery explosion. Some of the off-road cars were messing about with the jump and weren't expecting to explode down there, but the June loader gets some fireworks as it crosses, or just before it crosses the line. And the final vehicle to go, the FQ2, struggled. And again, this was another car that just, as you could see, has no speed at all. Really wasn't very quick at all. It's just, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with this car. I was expecting the FQ2 to be fairly good, but no, it was really struggling for the straight line speed. It also had an adventure off the side of the hill. So for the stage 3 times, and unsurprisingly, the Bifter goes first, with an 11-second margin back to the Bodhi. The Bodhi is also quite a lot faster than the Kalahari. Surprisingly, the Kalahari managed to beat the Sand King despite its spectacular crash, and that just goes to show how slow, how much of a struggle, I can speak honestly, the Sand King was having with the longer straights. The Rebel explored most of the scenery, and hence why its time is considerably slow. The FQ2, just no speed, absolutely no speed in that. Yes, it had adventures off the course, nowhere near as many as the Rebel, and still quite a long way back. Straight line speed of that was struggling, and the June loader wasn't doing particularly well either. We moved to the overall times, and of course the Bifter is quite a long way in the lead. With the other Bifter retiring, Husky was pretty much unchallenged, over a minute in the lead with 3 rounds gone. The Sand King was up into second, with the Kalahari in third. Kalahari just slightly closing the gap. The Bodhi would be a lot higher than it was had it not got stuck on the first section, or the first stage, but was making good progress back through the field, having made up 3 places on that third stage, and not that far away from the 2 cars in front. And then we have the Rebel with its many adventures sort of slipping back from the rest of the field. The FQ2 is just simply struggling with any speed, and the same could be said about the June loader. Anyway, that is it for the third stage of the Los Santos Rally, so thank you very much for watching. The next stage should be out tomorrow, so until then, goodbye.